Hi and welcome back. I'm Mary Jo, also known as Sojo, and this is my channel where I talk about all my quilty stitchy things. And today is March 24th, 2024, and this is my weekly update, number 57, where I talk about everything I've worked on, completed, finished throughout the week. So this week I did manage to get a quilt quilted on the Longarm. I finished a quilt top. I fully finished a cross stitch objects and some other things. So let's get right into it. So what did I quilt on the Longarm? Well, let's hang it up, take a look at it. And this is what was on the Longarm this week. Now this is what this quilt looks like. It is Awakening by Stephanie Ryan. And this was a free pattern that I had at I found at a quilt shop, and I just got the fabrics and made that. I think there was one or two that fabrics that I have to substitute, but it's the same fabric line. So we'll go in, take a closer look at it. Okay, so we're going to work our way at the top and work our way down here. Now, according to the pattern, this is 84.5 by 86.5. So we'll go with that. The pantograph I used was a floral pantograph that had leaves in it. I'll show that in just a second. And going down to the bottom. Now let's see. I see some leaves right there. And you can start to make out a flower there. And there's a flower all the way down here. That is the flower. Now this does have a piping on it that comes out a little bit. So I did have to baste that down in order to long arm it, just so it didn't flip over. So when I go ahead and put the binding on, I will take that basting out. And then we'll take a look at the back. And that is the backing. Now, when I bought that backing, I thought it was the same fabric as that's in the border. It's not, but it's very similar. It's from a different line by the same designer. But it's still what I used. So I also finished another quilt top this week, and this was from a Creative Notion subscription box from quite a while ago, a couple years ago. And this is what it is, the butterfly quilt. Now, my border is a different fabric because that didn't come included, so I had to buy what I could find. And it's all from Lori Holt's Stitch Line. And according to this, it's 46.5 by 65. So it's around there. We'll hang it up, take a look at it. And this is what the quilt top looks like. Just panning it down here. Now in the pattern, it does show scallop borders. I probably won't add those scallop borders, but I'll make that decision after it's quilted. Okay, so I have this goal to quilt 50 quilt tops this year. Kind of fallen behind. So far, I'm only up to 10. And I have completed 7 tops this year, 7 quilt tops. So that's where I am with those totals. Now, what else did I do as far as piecing? Let me show you. Let me dig through my mess here. Now, as I'm sorting through my mess, I just want to remind people I am trying to reach that 1,000 subscriber mark. At the time of this recording, I'm at 845 subscribers. Now, once I get to that 1,000 subscriber mark, I do plan on giving a quilt or two away. Now, that will be to the US only, but I want to do it. So, hey, if you wouldn't mind, hit that subscribe button, like, share with a friend. I'd really appreciate it. Okay, now, what else did I do for piecing? Well, I worked on this machine, sewing machine cover. Now this ironing surface here, I already completed that. I showed that a couple videos back. But I have been working on this. And I'm working on the front of that, getting that piece together. That block. So here's where I am. I've got these small pieces adding to the top and bottom. Then I got some larger pieces. I will add to the sides and then I can quilt it. And I can add it to the other part of the sewing machine cover I've already got done. So here is the back of the sewing machine cover. This is the back. There are the sides and the top. And that. Now I did quilt it with just some straight line quilting on the domestic. And yes, and this is piping that was put through there. And yeah, my sides are a little bit longer, but that's okay. I'm going to leave them there and I'll trim them. So that's where I am with that. And this was part of a Creation Notion subscription box. I did put the Pellon Flex Foam in there to give it more body. So once I finish with the front of that quilt block, this is the Flex Foam. I will put on the front and I'll put like a lining and then I will quilt that again with just some straight line quilting on the domestic. And let's see what else. Y'all, when I do these weekly update videos, I literally have stuff everywhere. It's kind of funny. Okay, now, since I finished that one Creative Notion project, I got out the next Creative Notion project, and I believe this is October of 2021. It should say somewhere. Yes, this is from October of 2021. So, you know, we're a few years behind, but it's okay. But what I'm working on is this Honey Hexagon Throw. There we go. Now this did not come with a acrylic ruler for the hexagons. It came with basically a paper template, and it also came with some template plastic. So that was my first experience cutting out template plastic because, you know, here's the back of it. Normally, I would just use that and a paper template and then use a rotary cutter. I tried the plastic. I wasn't really a fan of it, but I made it work. And this is where I am. I got it cut out, some pieces pinned on each side to take it to start sewing it together. So I did do that. So all those bees should start coming soon. I'm not a fan of bees. You know, last fall, when the bees should have been all gone because it was too cold, I got into bed one night. There was a bee in my bed and stung me in my belly. It was not pleasant. I still can't believe there was a bee in my bed. Don't know where it came from, but it was just the one. All right. So what else did we get? So I worked on this shooting star pattern, which is a sew sampler, old sew sampler box. So here's where we are. I have those pinned together. Just need to sew all of those. I think there's 18 of these blocks. I think. Could be wrong. And I have all of those pinned together in all the different colors. And there's another block. That one, which I have pinned together. And I have all of those. I think there's 18. Let me see. Yes, 18 of all those pinned together, ready to sew. So I worked on that. See, they're all in that little box. And yes, I use my sew sampler box because I keep the projects in until they're done. Sometimes those projects don't all fit in there well, but I try to keep as much in there as I possibly can just to help keep organized. Because when you sew as much as I do, you have to keep organized. All right. Now, at least is the variety of things that I do. All right, now I worked on this ambience quilt. Let me see the inserts in here. Let me see when this is from December of 2021. So yeah, it seems like I'm falling farther behind on the sew samplers instead of getting further ahead. Oh well. So let's see. Let me see if I can find a better picture. Okay, so here's where I am. So I've got this and the stashing row. All of that's put together, and I just started putting these side borders on. They are just pinned on. So after I sew those, I can just add a top and bottom border, and then I'll be done. So this one is almost done. There we go. Sorry, I just kind of threw it over my head because I don't know how else to hold it up. There we go. And like I said, we've got the sides pinned on. So just sew both those side borders on and then the top and bottom. And that will be done. Okay. So not a lot of piecing this week, but that's okay. Now, I do hope to get my next What Will I Make series out this week. My next quilt that I'll be doing that, and I'll be using a layer cake. We'll see if that happens though. Tell you what, now that it's starting into spring, I'm just very busy around here. I've got many appointments and some work and all that stuff. Okay, so let me clean this up a little bit and then I'll pull out all my cross stitch I did. And that involved a little bit of sewing too. So last week, I had shown this quilt all done, bound, everything. And then I also showed my cross stitch that the stitching was all done. I just needed to finish it. And this is a Lori Holt pattern too. Whether it was meant to go with this or not, I think it does. So I'm going to use my cross stitch and turn it into a pillow to go with my quilt. And there's my pillow, and I got the rickrack there on the sides. Just stuffed it with polyfill. There's the back because I used a piece backing just like my quilt. There's my quilt. You know, and it's got a piece backing on it as well. So quilt, pillow to go with it. So I finished this. I think this is probably my first fully finished object for cross stitch this year. And I even used the buttons on it. I just stuffed it with polyfill. I didn't use a pillow form. All right. So, since I finished that cross stitch project, I had to start working on some others. So, I started working on the Samplers of the Month by Country Cottage Needleworks. And this is January. I just started with January. There that is. And here is my January. all done. Now I do think that white floss does blend in a little bit with that background, but that's okay. The French knots for the eyes and buttons. And what I think I'm going to do with it is I found this a long time ago at Target. And I bought this easel thing. And I'm going to finish this and kind of put that in there with some sort of blue fabric or fabric that matches the pattern to stick out a little bit. And it will go right in my easel with some magnets, and I can switch out the months. So that's my plan for that. I actually have a plan. Sometimes I do these cross stitch and I don't have a plan as to what I'm going to do with it. But I think that's what I'm going to do for this one. Okay. Let's see what else I did. So that means I have finished 3 cross stitch projects this year. Fully finished one into the pillow. Like I said, I am trying to keep track of all of my stuff this year to figure out how much I do in a year. I think that'd be interesting to know. Now, as far as crochet goes, I have been working. Oh, before I go to crochet, I forgot. I also started working on the February sampler of the month. So here's the February one. I know it's hard to see, it's small. But that's February's. And this is where I am with February. So when I put it in the easel, I'll have some sort of pink fabric behind it that will stick out on all the sides. Now, as far as crochet goes, I've been working on this large rectangle wrap. Now, it wasn't quite long enough and I needed some yarn. I got that yarn. And here we are. It's getting there. I still got some more yarn I want to add. I mean, I can sort of wrap it around. Almost. Not quite as long as I want, but it's getting there. And the yarn I've been using is from Hobby Lobby. Soft and sleek, low pill fiber. It's a 4-weight. And the colorway is Berry Mix. So we're getting there with that. Alright. Diamond painting. I did do a little bit of diamond painting, but there's not a lot of progress on it, so I'm just going to skip showing that for today. Alright, so that's everything I worked on this week. Alright, till next time. Bye!